All right, here we go. This next video is actually going to be kind of about organization, goal setting, planning, and stuff like that. It's going to be very, very quick. We're not going to dive directly into those things just yet because that's kind of a module in and of itself. But I'm going to try to do that in between time. And I also have a video series for you to watch that will, add all the missing parts to that. But I kind of want to show you just how I do things. This is like the quick fix, because this thing don't happen overnight. But this is kind of like the quick fix. There's something that you can apply that helped me, really helped me. All right. So one of the things that I've learned is if you write out your ideas, if you write out kind of like well, let me put it like this. One of the things you wanna pay attention to is what is the point of everything that you're doing? What is the reason you're doing it for? Write that out. Write out the reason. And I mean as detailed as possible. Write out the reason. And the reason you need to do that is it gives you a better understanding because in your head there's a picture. That's how the mind works. It works in pictures, right? Um, but those pictures aren't necessarily detailed. It's kind of like the end result. This is what we want. This is the picture that we like to be at. But when you write it down, why you want that picture, how you're going to make it happen, or what do you think would be the best ways to make that happen? But you want to ask, those kind of questions like, how can I say it? You want to know, you just want to write it down, kind of flesh it all out, leave no stone unturned. And what'll happen is when you're finished, you'll be able to have something that you can look at and be like, wow, I never looked at it this way, even though this is how I felt, obviously, because you wrote it down. And it'll help you kind of have like a game plan of where you want to go. Us as humans, we've kind of been conditioned and trained to just bounce according to directions. We get this direction from our boss and we go that way. We get this direction from a coworker or whatever, we go that way. So it's kind of like we have to create our own path, or else we'll just be going down the path. Either we'll be going down a path with no real guidance or no real endpoint, or we'll just be going all the ways that other people tell us to go. So we kind of have to put our own goals and desires and passions in front of us and figure out how we want our life to lead us to those. All right. So when you write down your reasons for doing what you're doing, it'll kind of let you understand what you want to do and what you don't want to be doing to get what you want. Okay, it'll show you what's conducive to your goal and it'll show you what's not conducive. All right, so that's one of the things that I like to do is when I have a method or an idea, I like to write it all the way out and say, this is the method, this is why I believe it's going to work, these are the past results I've seen, and kind of convince myself on why it's going to work and stuff like that. And if I have an idea, I like to write it all the way out. This method is this. When you do this, you get this, and I like to write it all the way out. For example, if I could, actually, I can't find any because my notepads are like overrun with notes now since I started to do this. But um, let's say it was the local idea or something like that. I would literally write down. Um, I need to make $97 a month from local clients. What I need to get is one client or four clients. Basically, I need to have four keywords done. Each keyword would be about $25 a month. So I really only need like maybe 4 to 6 clients just to be safe. Now, the way that I would do that is I would literally write this all the way down. This is how I write it. Now, the way that I would do that is by going to Craigslist, or I could do it passively with Fiverr. Now, the way I do it passively with Fiverr, the way that works is because people are coming there for cheap service anyway. So I'm more likely to be able to capture people there for low-end services, low-end recurring monthly services, as opposed to somewhere else, or opposed to having higher prices. If this guy is willing to order set amount links for me for $5, imagine what you know, he'd probably be amped to do $25 a month as opposed to coming back to Fiverr and spending $5 a day. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's why that would work. Now, on the Craigslist, and I would write it down that way. so that instead of it being all in my mind that way, it's on paper, so that when I look at it, it just does something. And you'll understand once you do it, but it just gives you kind of like, it puts everything in the palm of your hand as opposed to being intangible. And that does something. I'm not exactly sure what it does. I don't know yet. I'll have to look that up. But it gives us a focal point. I do know that. I mean, even the Bible tells you to write a vision and make it plain, right? And then people will run with it. If it's in your mind, then nobody can do anything with it because it's not tangible. But when you make it tangible, something, it's just something that happens. It's like some form of creation has started. All right, so that's one of the things is write out all your ideas. Next thing you want to do, write out your plans. How are you going to fulfill your ideas? Okay? If and when you get a game plan like that, you just write it out. You're not worried about the steps, none of that kind of stuff. But when you get a game plan like that, it's just like when you write out your ideas. You make it plain. You put it down on something that's tangible, and then you can see it all as one picture. But now it's words as opposed to the images in your mind. All right, so you put it down as words, and now you see another big picture. You do that with your plans. How am I going to accomplish this goal? Right? And then you just write it out. Write it out like it's a story. Write it out like you're talking to one of your best friends, and then go back and read it, and then you say, "Oh, wow. Okay, so this is my plan. Now, what is step one? What is the first thing I need to do if I'm going to do this plan? Then what is step two, three, four, all the way until completion?" And then you have to see, okay, can these steps be done all in one day, all in 1 week, all in 1 month, and then you do your steps accordingly, right? Now, each step may in and of itself have sub-steps. Now, I'm not trying to get you confused here, but basically my point is you want to organize all of your information. You want to organize all of your patterns and routines. You want to organize this stuff. And this is just a light version of what we're going to be doing. But this is what I want you to be able to implement today once you finish this. All right? Write down your ideas, which is basically your thoughts, your methods, right? Then write down how you want to do those thoughts and methods. Okay? Then you want to write down the steps as how you're going to fulfill your plan. Okay, and each step in and of itself may have something. So if it's like get 10 Facebook users, or get 10 Facebook fans, or get 10 Facebook accounts, what are the steps in order to do that? Because though step one is get 10 Facebook accounts, that's not actually step one. But step one has many steps within it. You know, what do you have to do? Do you have to buy them? Do you have to create them yourself? Do you have to go out first and create the emails? You want to put all that stuff in the steps. Put it in the steps and give it a time frame. That's the next thing. I call it stepping it out. You step it out and then you give it a time. Now there's something about, I don't want to sound real spacey here, but there's something about the universe. There's something about this material that makes up everything that God created. When you measure it, it's like water. When you put it in a glass, it's going to fit that glass. If you give an assignment time, that assignment will fall into that time. I don't know why it happens or how it happens, but that's just how it works. If you give each step or each sub-step, let me see, and then step those out, step those steps out, right? So you step out the plan, and then you step out those steps, and then you give each thing that you need to do a time. Now let me kind of interject here and put something in between this. You make a list. Okay? You make this list the night before. This is you make a to-do list, right? Which will have the steps for the next day. So let's say that you did want to get 10 Facebook fans. So let's just say you wanted to have 10 Facebook fan pages. You know, you have to take your first steps. You take those first steps. Let's say you take those first steps on Monday. So you make a list for Monday. I have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Give A, B, C. Give each one a time. A should take me, I don't care how stupid it sounds, A should take me 60 seconds. Put it on there and hold yourself to it. If you run over, you have to adjust the time because you now understand, okay, here's a more realistic time. If you run under, adjust the time because you say, okay, now here's a more realistic time. Step B should take me this amount of time. Step C should take me this amount of time, all the way until you get to the end. And then in the morning, have a start time and all that. Because now that you've calculated how much each step is going to take, you literally know how much work you need to do that day. You know how long you'll be working that day. It's not it's not a mystery. It's not a secret, and it's not something that you're just going to do until you feel like stopping or do until there's nothing else to do. Because I'm telling you, you're going to burn yourself out that way, and you'll feel like you didn't do anything. We need the list, okay? And give each one a time. Now here's the next thing. All right, let me put this set a start time as well. And after you calculate how much time you will be spending, you can also then set a stop time. So you can literally say, and this, man, this is one of the things that I've been yearning to do since I started internet marketing, but to be able to tell somebody when I'll be finished. I mean, I still have a problem with that because when I'm finished, I'm never finished because my mind is just continually going. So I'm never actually finished. But set a stop time. So you can set a start time. Okay, if I start at 9, all my tasks all together equal 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'll be stopping at 11:15. You know, if I start at 9. So and it just, oh my God, when you measure it that way, oh, it just, there's something about it. You feel like you're doing work when you measure it that way. If you don't measure it and you just go and there's no measurement, you feel like you're doing nothing, even though you've done so much. And at the end of the day, you feel burnt out, but you don't feel as successful. When you do it this way, oh my goodness, you can create a Facebook account and just check off the steps, and you feel like you've done a bunch of work. It's amazing. It's just the reward that somehow was created by doing this. So you set a start time, you set a stop time. That's the night before, right? Then the next morning, you start on time. Okay, so the next morning you start on time and you do each task. As you finish a task, cross it out. All right, and you want to cross it out nice and just you just cross it out, just like, oh, a task, I'm done with you. And just cross it out as hard as you can because I'm telling you, it's going to do something to you. When you cross that last task off on your list and you look and be like, wow, 2 hours and 15 minutes of work on paper, I can see what I did. I know exactly my successes. I know what areas I might need working, all that stuff. It's going to do something to your mind that you will love it. You will become addicted to lists. Okay? And then guess what? After you finish this, after all tasks are crossed out, I don't even want to just say completed, but crossed out, guess what you're going to do? Make a new list. Just that simple. Start the process all over again. Rinse and repeat. That's all you got to do. You make a new list, you rinse and repeat. You do the process all over again until you've reached your goal. And you consistently work your plan, making adjustments along the way as you need to, but you consistently work your plan by putting it on paper. And this is what you can also do. Write your plan out more than once. You know, write it again the next day. Write it again the next evening or something like that. Write that stuff out because as you do it, you learn more about it yourself. When you go back and revisit things after you've learned more, you see new things. Okay, your perspective changes. Your awareness is on something different now. Okay, but this right here this changed my life. It really did. And I'm not lying to you. It's changed my life. Like It's one of the most powerful things that it's amazing with all the knowledge that I have, all the information I have about niche research, keyword research, writing down lists and goal setting and planning has been the most powerful thing that I've ever learned. The most powerful thing because all that stuff means nothing if you can't organize it. Also, straighten out your work area. If you're working at home, wherever you're working at, straighten out your work area the night before, if it's possible. So not everybody has an area where they can actually work, that they can dedicate to work. But if you have one, straighten out that area the night before so that you can, if you're doing it in the morning or in the evening or whatever, when you go to sit down, it's clear. Everything's clear. Okay? Get all distractions out of the way. Make whatever you're doing and make the area around you as bare as possible so there's no distractions. That means uh, the only thing that should be on your desk or whatever should be your computer, your notepad, and if it's not conducive to work, nothing else. That's it. Only the things that are conducive to work need to be in your work area during that time. Okay? So clean it up, make it organized, and make it conducive to a work environment. Okay, so there's a reason why uh, a lot of telemarketing companies make their their people wear a shirt and ties and pants and slacks. I mean slacks and shoes. It just does something to you, to your mentality. That's why they don't just let you come in and wear anything, even though nobody can see you. It just does something to your mentality. It causes you to talk different. It causes you to sit differently. I don't sit the same when I have on uh, a button-up shirt. I don't even move my head. I don't turn left or right the same way when I have a button-up shirt on. I don't walk the same when I have on shoes as opposed to sneakers or boots. It's just different. So you'd be surprised how these little things around you can either make you over relaxed or it can have you on point and very mentally sharp and focused. So you want to take advantage of those things that other people aren't doing because there is no real, not that I know of, there is no SEO course that's going to teach you about this. Those guys are missing out. They think that they're getting something, and for them it may be something. But I'm telling you, this right here, this plan is going to change your life. It's going to change. If you're already doing it, kudos. I wish you had told me about it. But if you're not doing this, then you need to do it. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Folks, this is literally the tip of the iceberg. This thing runs so deep within our psychology and the way that we work. When I break that open to you, it's going to change the way that you do everything. It's gonna have you on some different stuff, and it's a freedom in it too. Because how many things that you wish you could change about yourself that you just don't know how to, but when you know how to, you can change those things with ease. This, I'm not even gonna get into all that right now, but let me just put it like this: there is a little man guiding this machine. We just forgot all about him, and when we reconnect with this little man, and have him working for us, this body, it'll become our slave as opposed to being a slave to this body. So that's going to be awesome. Okay, but put this in the let's recap this because it's up to you. You're paying the money, but I'm telling you that this is the game plan that works, and I'm only reiterating it that way because literally a year ago I wouldn't have wanted to hear this. There was one time when the guy he was talking about this, and I tried it. I had a scheduler and all that kind of stuff, and it worked, and I felt good about it, but it wasn't a habit, so I didn't continue to do this. That's why it's good to do this at night, because when you start your list at night, you literally sleep on it, and your mind is literally going to work for you on it. And a lot of times you wake up with ideas, but the one of the most important things about it is when you go to sleep on it, when you do it at night and you go to sleep on it, it starts to become a habit because your brain knows that it's important to you, so it will remind you to do it. And if you keep your notepad in a place where you can always see it, then you're always constantly reminded. Okay. We'll be talking about more things on that too, but it's been a long night, brothers and sisters. But that's it. That's all I have for you, today. But write out all your ideas and then write out your plans. As I said, kind of write it out as if you're telling a story, as if you're talking to your friend and you're trying to convince them how it's a good idea. or trying to explain it to them. And then write out your plans the exact same way. Then step it out. Okay? Some of those steps may require other steps within them. Some of them won't. You'll know it. And by writing out your plans and what you want to do, you kind of give it a goal when you want to fulfill it also too. You have to have a end goal. If you don't have an end goal, then you just kind of wander. There's no point in what you're doing, so that you're willing to do anything then. But if you write out your plans and let's set a due date or deadline, right? Then you have steps up until that deadline. Then you make a to-do list of those steps that you stepped out there. So the steps for that day will be on the to-do list. Like, I've found out that most of my ideas and plans can be done within a week, with the first day being the research and creation of the keywords, the second day being the creation of the content, and then the third day being posting the content, which can be done in the second day. Once the content is posted, then we want to get some backlinks to it, so that would be promotion and pinging, which would be backlinks and pinging, and usually that's pretty much it. And then you kind of just wait and see, or move on to the next thing, and then do it all over again. And then you can revisit the first thing. You can have a revisit day, so that you can revisit the first thing and see how it's doing, and then you just repeat the steps. But you don't have to repeat steps 1, 2, and what, 3. You would just repeat steps 4 pretty much, which is building more backlinks. That's it. All right. So I mean, is when you put it in steps like that, man. Oh my goodness, it gives you a power. You have power over your ideas instead of them having power over you. Because I mean, how many times have you ever felt like you look at this thing? Oh, this is a perfect example. I've said this a few times to people now, knowing it this way. If you've ever seen, let's try to find that. Try to find one of those. Okay. No, that's what I wanted to challenge. World's largest hamburgers. Clearfield. Let's go to the. I want to challenge. See if we can get some pictures. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this is ridiculous. Look at this burger. That is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even do that. But listen, this is the point. See how humongous this is? Most people would sit there and be like, oh my God, like I did. Oh my God, I can't eat all that, right? And some guy that they asked, they was like, how are you going to eat all that? He said, one bite at a time. And that's our goals. That's our ideas. They're this humongous hamburger, and you're like, oh my God, I can't eat all this. I might as well not even try. Or I can't do it. I don't understand how to. I'm just going to wait until I realize how to do it. And that never happens. That's why we need to do this. We have to step it out. Because if we make our humongous goal into bite-sized chunks, then they're actionable things that we can actually accomplish. You may not be able to create a Facebook fan page with 1 million views or 1 million fans in one day, but can you at least create a phone verified Facebook account today? I'm pretty sure you can. Write out the steps. Get that part done. Now, what do you have to do tomorrow to continue this process that you've already started? When you break it down that way, I mean, 1 million fans is only 1 million fans. That means there's one like at a time. It's just 1 million of them. You know, but I mean, if you look at it in a very, very realistic way, how many likes do you have to get a week to get 1 million? Then what's the plan to do that? And then write out the steps to fulfill the plan. Then write out the steps to the steps. Then make your to-do list, and then fill them out. Do your to-do list. Check it off every day. It's just that simple. All right, so we got to break down these things because I know I gave you a lot of information. I know your head may or may not be spinning depending on your perspective. You take that information and you want to run with it. I understand, and it's a lot, and it's huge, it's humongous. You can take all these ideas, write it down, write down your ideas, write down the unique ones that you have, and write down the ones that you got from me. Write down the ones that come from the ideas that you heard from me that go with something that you already had. Write it all down. Write every single idea that you have down. All right, flesh it out. Then write out the plan. How do you want to accomplish that idea? Set a due date. When do you want to have it completed by? Make steps. Step those steps out. Make a to-do list the night before. The next day, oh, right. You want to give each a time. Uh, give each step on the list, the to-do list, a time. Set a start time that you'll start the next day, and a stop time based off of the estimation of all the times that you've created. Right. Next morning, after you've done this, start on time. Also, finish on time. That's also important. That's something I like to leave out myself because it's not something that I usually do. So you want to finish on time as well. Start on time, finish on time. As you finish a task, cross it out. Okay? After all tasks are crossed out, you make a new list, and then you start all over again the next morning and do it all over again. That's really as simple as it gets. All right, so somehow I've managed to make this video just as long as the rest. I'm going to stop it here now, and hopefully you guys just have some stuff that you can really, really use. I mean, I need to get you guys' feedback on this, okay, so I can figure out how I should be structuring the content or not. I'm willing to all of your feedback. If I don't think it's conducive to the way I want to do things, then I won't take it. But I still need to hear your feedback so that I can at least have something to check the way that I'm doing things against, so that I know if the way that I'm teaching you is the best way or not. Now, I know I didn't go over everything, every single little nuance of everything, but as you can see, it was so much. How could I? Okay, so that may be unrealistic, but if there's other things that you guys might need help on, little things that you may not understand, then I can always send you a video, maybe like a YouTube video, lead you to an article if I can't answer it myself, or if it's something that's kind of basic, but that you may need a step-by-step instruction for, then I can always send you to a video or a guide or something like that that'll help you with that. Other things that I can help you with, I definitely will. All right. So once again, it's been a long day, folks. We started this around 9:15 a.m. around that time, and it is now 12:24 a.m. So I'm gonna wrap this up, package this up all nice, shine it up, and send this out to you guys. Like I said, send me your feedback. I really want to know what you think. I want to understand what you guys are feeling about this, whether you think the content is good, whether it's too much information or what. I mean, a lot of this stuff I am going to go back over and break down later. But like I said in the first video, my main point with this was to kind of shatter and broaden your horizons and your perspectives on how you see things. For some of you, you may have already been there. As I'm pretty sure you're aware of. I don't know everything. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of things you know that I don't, and vice versa. So if this was, a refresher for you, I guess I apologize for that. But either way, if you wasn't doing it, then you needed this anyway. So thank you for you guys' appreciation. I really do. You don't know how honored I am that there are people that still want to receive my information at the cost, and that value my information at that cost. All right, so I want to talk to you real quick too, just about changing perspective because of the perspective that I've received in just the last month, maybe 2 months. I was able to meet with a lady today who's a realtor, and I was actually able to. Well, not no, it was it today? It wasn't today. It was we had a meeting a while back. Today we actually kind of finalized everything. But yeah, from an idea that I gave her, something that's pretty much going to be unique to her and really nobody else in her field of expertise in the area, she's starting an entirely new business, a whole new LLC from an idea that I gave her from meeting at a Starbucks. She's starting a whole new business from it, and she wants me to head it up just from an idea that I gave her because my perspective was broad and all I did was take a concept that was true in one area and look in her field and see where I can make that concept true for her. And just spitballing ideas, the one that stuck, and now she wants to start an entirely new business about it, and she wants me to head it up. And she's talking about some real good money, okay? She's talking some real good money. I don't even want to, I'm not going to say the figures just yet, but she's talking about at least, let's say, I would say it could realistically, let me just stop. She wanted to be conservative, 5 figures a year, I think was, but the high 5 figures, right? That's how many figures it is? That, and then those. Yes, 5 figures a year, just for doing something that, for the most part, I'll be hiring out to somebody else to do. But it isn't really online work either. But the idea is something online. But in order for me to head it up, it has to be done offline. So it's cool though, because I get to rub shoulders with, some experts in their field, some people that have actually built sustainable businesses, and I get to be around these people, question them, see how their business process works. And the beauty about that is, in the past, I wouldn't have wanted to do that because that has nothing to do with what I want to do. But now I understand getting around these experts and hearing the way that they think when they see a price tag, when they see a commercial. I get to see how they think when they see the average worker, what they think. So I get to get around them and get their perspective and see the patterns and the things that are typical in their niche that aren't typical in ours. But I get to take that pattern and be like, oh, I see how that operates for you. And let me see how I can apply that methodology online. When you broaden your perspectives like that, oh my goodness, it makes you stand out from everyone. And you're able to see things that nobody else can see, which is why I was able to give her an idea. Though she's been in her business for 10 years, very successful. Though she's been in her business for 10 years, I was able to give her an idea that's going to add value to her business. That's going to separate her from everybody else. And she's been doing this for 10 years and is already successful. But she gets it. So she wants new cutting edge ideas. And because of that one cutting edge idea that I gave her, I got a job with her with an expert in the realtor market that's going to teach me, how neighborhoods work and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be amazing. And the same thing can happen for you. You just got to change your perspective. Or, take the perspective that you have, write it out, make a plan, set up a due date, do all the steps, do all the things that you need to do. All right. So I'm going to end this here, though it was a long day, folks. I enjoyed every second of it. I love teaching this stuff. And as you can see, I can talk about it for days. I literally can. So I don't, this is all good. I really hope that you guys enjoy this, that you find value of it. Please let me know what you think so that I can, make next month even better. All right. So this is it for today, folks. Enjoy.